Israel.
So, hi everyone. First of all, hi Julie. If you shop at Valley Soul, I just want to tell you we love them. They are phenomenal and they're great at fitting you and getting you the right shoes for what you need to do. They're one of our favorite stores in the United States that we work with, and they're absolutely a phenomenal staff. My name's Ayelet, and I am the president of Naot Footwear in the USA. And as probably you can tell from my name, I travel to Israel a lot, very often. My kids think of it as like other people from New York go to Florida, they go to Tel Aviv. And so I'm so excited to share my love of the country. And I know everybody's going there and starting to travel again. And like so much of that's happening. And there are so many little hidden gems in Israel that I wanted to share my experience with you and really share with you what my favorite parts of going there are and what my favorite shoes are, of course, for wearing while I'm doing it.
Yes, and your dad, is he over there now? Will you share a little bit about kind of your family background too? Sorry,
Sure.
This was not a question I sent over, but
it's all good. I'm good. I'm off the cuff. So so this is our family business. We have 5 factories in Israel up north, which I encourage you to visit if you get to go there. There's this phenomenal tour that you can see, and you can see where they're manufactured, and they're beautiful. It's like in the Hula Valley, which I'm going to talk about in a little because it's one of my favorite spots on earth. It's like more beautiful than Tuscany with really good Middle Eastern food and a phenomenal historical aspect of it that I don't think, most places in the world have. And so there's like the beautiful Jordan River runs along there. And it's our family company. My dad started bringing over the shoes to the United States, and my parents actually both did. I was born in Israel, and they go back and forth now all the time, back and forth. And they'll actually be there in, I think, like 2.5 weeks. They're going back again for about another 3-week stint. It's like 8 weeks in the U.S., 3 weeks in Israel.
Okay. Now, do they have a home there probably, since they're going back and forth so much? They have somewhere that's like they're not packing for 3 weeks.
They do have somewhere to be, and we're very lucky to have family there. So I grew up, and in Israel it's like this thing where it's this feeling that everybody's family. Like you'll find someone and they'll just like invite you over for dinner, and it's very normal. And like if you find somebody and you're like, oh, you don't have anywhere to be tonight, come on over. And so even as a kid, I remember like going there, we would just throw like mattresses in my aunt's houses, and we would all just sleep and have like massive cousin sleepovers. So, they'll stay up at my aunt's house when they're up north because she lives right near where the factory is, or they'll stay down with, their friends and hang out in Tel Aviv, which is their main headquarters in Israel. But
what an amazing way to grow up as a kid, because it's not like you just have you and your parents and any siblings, but you have like this massive extended family. That's incredible. We're in the South, so we tend to be inviting people over and are super friendly, but nothing like that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's this crazy thing where everybody's family. It's the feeling of everybody being family, like no matter who you are. It's like you treat everybody as family. That's sort of the motto of the country. And it's cool because I grew up on something called a kibbutz, which is actually where our shoes are also manufactured. It's a different kibbutz, but a kibbutz is something that's uniquely in Israel. So I would definitely go visit one if you're going. They're all over. My kibbutz that I grew up on is called Kibbutz Gezer, and it's actually where, if you love baseball, it's where baseball in Israel was founded.
Oh, cool.
There's a bunch of Americans that moved to Israel and started a kibbutz, which is basically doesn't work this way anymore, but it used to be a socialist farm. So there were all these houses, and there would be like a factory that everybody worked in, and there would be farms. So my dad, before he came into the business world, worked in the watermelon fields and drove a tractor, and my mom like worked with the cows. And so it was these massive farms, and today it doesn't really work like that. They're all like individually owned houses, and it's sort of like a gated community that you all work in and sort of have like a something you put into the pot for communal activities. But back then,
is it a place that if you are visiting that you could stop and it would be welcome for somebody who is just traveling there to go see?
So I would definitely like let them know. They won't even. It's a gated area, so they're not going to like let you just come in and like walk around. Okay. But I would definitely, if you're going with a tour guide, say I really would love a kibbutz experience. And there are kibbutzim that have, like right near Naot, Mordechai, which is where we produce our shoes, there's a place called Kfar Bloom. and it has these beautiful places like a hotel that you can stay on. So you stay in the hotel and you use the kibbutz pool and you eat in what's called the Chadar Ochel, which means and translated literally to the room of food. And it's like you go there the way that they would have eaten. And so it's this really cool thing, and you can do a kibbutz tour while you're there. So there's that one in the south. There's a kibbutz called Kibbutz Keturah that you can stay on. And they do like date farming, and they, in the south, it's like right near Ayelet and Masada, if you're going to go in that direction. And they have like a ton of really interesting, if you're into farming, irrigation. So they've started like really cool irrigation things because they're in the desert and they grow farming, really phenomenal farming in the desert. So they've done all these really innovative irrigation things down there that they've actually then sent out all over the world.
Oh, how cool is that? That's amazing. I love it when there's innovation, and then there's one that my husband and Ari, your husband, are both huge sports fans, so that's really cool that that's the place that baseball came to the country. What a neat community. I just feel like one of our customers said Israel did for her heart what Alaska did for her eyes. She was like, it just moved my heart and changed my life, and it's just such a one of a kind. There's nowhere else that you can go in the world and experience that kind of community and the history. And I remember talking to your dad at dinner, and he said you can drive underneath into like the old city. Like it's all still there. It's just because they build on top of each other, and it just, what a beautiful place.
I love the old city because you really see all the communities like living together.
Mm-hmm.
You have the 4 sects of the old city. And one of the things I would say to bring with you is make sure you're bringing comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
So like my favorite shoe is actually the Kayla to travel with, because this little shoe is going to work for you in every part that you want in Israel. Israel's not a fancy place. Like it is the opposite of fancy. Like think of like a wedding on a grass with like, white t-shirts for the men and jeans. And like, that is fancy dress. Like you wear your white t-shirt and your jeans and you are like good to go for the wedding. And so you're not wearing heels. It's not Paris fashion show, right? It's like a totally different experience. And like the dress that you're wearing right now, Julie, like that's perfect. You're thinking of like 100-degree weather, which I'm sure you guys are more used to in the south than we are up north. But at night it's going to be like 85. So you're going to have this little shoe. It's going to walk with you. You can wear it everywhere. So when you're thinking of like the old city, which is definitely going to be one of your stops, you're going to want to walk on cobblestones, right? So think about cobblestone streets and going underground into the tunnels and going to see the Wailing Wall and the Western Wall. And so this shoe right here, again, love it. I'm wearing it in black right now. I wear it all the time. But it's really going to allow you to be breathable, and you can wear it with like the little dress. Like how cute is that color, Julie, with the dress that you're wearing right now?
So
loving
it. Our angles got moved with trying to redo the post, but I have on the Aubrey. I'll just
so cute.
Do some
I have it here. I'll show it for you. There we go. This is the one I'm wearing. Also super cute if you want a little more bling. And so it's got the little bit of gold over here. Like again, very neutral. I love it for walking, but in the old city, you're going to want to walk. So you do a ton of walking, and I would also bring a shawl. So make sure you're covered. Think about having super lightweight, again, 100 degrees, super hot in the middle of the day, but like super lightweight. Like this is like very lightweight. And when you go to certain areas like the Western Wall or even the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, they're going to want you to cover your shoulders. So it's good to wear a tank top if you're willing to wear a tank top most of the time because it's super hot when you're doing your hiking and stuff. The other big thing in Israel is it's so dry, right? So dry heat. Here we have like where you guys are, where we are, it's like so humid, right? And
it's like you've been hit by a wet blanket here.
Yes.
If you haven't showered in the morning, you will be wet.
Afternoon. I just went camping with my kids, and we had a friend that came in from California that came with the whole crew this year, and he was just like, oh my God, I can't deal with the humidity here, right? I'm like, okay. So that's basically like how it is in Israel. Super dry heat, so you need to drink. Like think about drinking every hour like a bottle of water.
Okay.
That's how much you to constantly make sure you're hydrated. And I think I'm like, I mean, you're a mom, I'm a mom. I think I'm like overly critical of my kids drinking water because of my time in Israel. And I'm always like, where's your water bottle? Like, they're like, we're in New York. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're good. We're not like dehydrated. And I'm like, no, you need another bottle of water for everything. So think about that when you're in Israel. So you want to make sure you're bringing like a little backpack or a little bag.
Bring a bottle to put water in, or get a bottle there? What do you guys usually do?
We usually bring our metal refillable bottles. The water in Israel is totally fine to drink. So you don't need to drink like bottled water. It's not like going to Mexico I know when I go to Mexico, I won't drink water from the tap, right? No. It's not like that. So you're going to be able to drink the water really good. But you want to be able to constantly refill it.
Okay.
And my thing is they do sell obviously like the plastic water bottles. They're not good for the environment.
Right.
And also the sun is so hot. So you know how they tell you not to put plastic water bottles in your car and then so think about that thing in your backpack, like super hot sun, and then you're hiking with like a plastic water bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's doing. So I totally recommend the whatever
metal or glass. Yes.
I don't know. Whatever brand you're using, I don't even know. We have like 15 million in our house. But yes.
We actually even just bought more. We went to the store the other day and my kids were like, ooh, I like this water bottle. I'm like, we are overflowing. Our cabinet is like dumping water bottles at us. But yes, because we love a good water bottle.
I know, it's a good water bottle. You can't travel with it enough. But yeah, so
let's pack a comfortable shoe, not super dressy, pack for heat. So do sleeveless if you can, or super lightweight. I love dresses in this Alabama heat because they're just like airy and you get some airflow. Pack a shawl so that you are covered, have your shoulders covered. Do knees need to be covered when you visit a lot of these places as well, or just shoulders?
I think it's mostly shoulders. Like at least I know actually your knees. You need to bring like what I used to do, like when I go, so I'll wear shorts and a tank top out because we're like, I don't know where we're going and it's hot and whatever, and or like a little cute little dropless dress because it's 100 degrees. Yeah. But then I always bring like the wraps. So like instead of covering your knees with pants because they're gonna get really hot, I would bring a wrap with this put around and a wrap around your like shoulders. So I always carry like two little wraps. And in Israel, you can actually buy them pretty cheaply in the shuk. So the shuk is kind of like a open door market.
Oh, cool.
And you get everything there. Like you get your spices. Look for, if you're going to go, 3 spices I always bring home with me. Ooh. Suma, purple spice, really good. It's kind of like a salty spice with a little bit of tart to it. It's kind of like a lime meat salt in a spice. Za'atar, which is probably the most commonly used Middle Eastern spice. And then there's this orange spice. There's 2 other spices I bring home, but the big one that all our friends always ask us to bring is an orange spice from the shuk. And just ask for the chicken spice. It's called chicken spice. And it's like a mixture of like smoked paprika with this and that and whatever. And you rub it on any meat or like eggplant or whatever you do when you get home. Yeah. Like Ari uses it on steak, burgers, chicken, whatever. And
oh my God.
And it tastes amazing.
Okay. I need to start putting in a request for these spices for you to bring to the shoe show twice a year. Because that sounds amazing. So what do you use the last one on like all meats or vegetables that you would be cooking like a meat, and then what about the first 2? What do you usually use them on?
I use them on fish a lot. Like we do a lot of like grilled bronzino at home. Which by the way, if you go to Israel, the fish is amazing. Except if you like sea bass and bronzino, it's called St. Peter's fish there. So just a change. It's a Mediterranean version.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, very neat.
And then we use it on I use it like on eggplant with a tahina sauce on it.
Okay.
Speaking of food in Israel, you're gonna go to Middle Eastern restaurants when you're there, and the Middle Eastern restaurants are amazing. I mean, the food in Israel is like, the scene is crazy. Like even the street food is like amazing. So fruits and vegetables taste like, I don't know why, but they just taste so much better. My guess is because it's like very much farm to table and it's like farms. I mean, the whole thing's not a big land and so much of it is farmland. Yeah. That you're getting fresh. But also I think it's the water. You know how like New York bagels taste better? I think it's our water. Yeah. So I think it's something with that. So lots of fruits and vegetables. But when you go to a Middle Eastern restaurant, they're going to serve you a ton of salads to begin with. And they're called salatim. I mean, salad in Israel. In Hebrew and in Arabic, it's the same word, salatim. and you're going to get tons of little salads. They're all delicious. Don't fill up. You still have your main meal coming.
That's what I would do. I just be like, I'm just gonna eat this. I don't need anything
like,
else.
I'm good with the salad. We're going, and I'm like, I'm good with the salatim. And they're like, what are you having to eat? And I'm like, all right. Yeah. There's like 4 more courses coming after. Just make sure you're ready for them.
So make your stomach bigger ahead of your trip. Is that one of the goals, so that you have room for all this wonderful food?
And the breakfasts in Israel are huge. So here, like, there's a lot of like very like bready breakfasts here, like your cereals and pancakes and stuff. In Israel, they have salad for every meal. So you're gonna have like a ton of salads for breakfast. Breakfasts are like these giant, like, I don't know, they're like phenomenal. Like my favorite thing when we don't stay at my parents' in Israel is staying in the hotels and getting the hotel breakfasts.
Yeah.
My son, actually, my sister was supposed to come with us in April, and then she canceled, so we ended up staying at my parents' apartment instead of them. And my son was so upset, and I was like, "Why? We're staying at your grandparents' apartment. We're not going to get the breakfast. You know, the breakfast is so good here." So they like basically think about like the best buffet you've ever had every time, and it's like every morning, and one is better than the next. And the coffee, like you don't need to put sugar in it. It's just like so good. So it just comes out.
Like, I love good food. So this is like, oh, I need to go to Israel. Just fresh. I feel like anytime we travel to Europe, I've never been to Israel, but now I clearly definitely want to go. Not that I didn't before, but anytime we travel to Europe, it's like this food tastes completely different and so much better. And you don't have that heavy fullness that a lot of American foods give you. And it's like, what are we putting in our food that makes this feel so heavy versus like light? Because you can, I'm sure, eat all the salads and all the courses and still feel good because it's fresh, pure food that's just different than what we're used to eating.
And everywhere in Israel has like, I think it's also very like a very, I don't want to say like athletic, but a very active environment. Yes. So if you're going in July, by the way, I just realized for people that are going like now, it is jellyfish season. So
okay, that's good.
Be aware of that in the Mediterranean. July is jellyfish season. If you're going in August, it should be done.
Okay.
Every year in July in the Mediterranean is jellyfish season.
Okay, so don't get it in the water. You do not want a jellyfish on day 1 of your trip, and then you're miserable the rest of the time.
Everywhere, or carry vinegar. You pour vinegar on it.
Okay, that's a good tip.
But they're little ones. They're not that bad, and it's like everybody just goes swimming. It's so hot that you're gonna go swimming anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's you know, in Israel, I think they're just very active. Like if you walk around Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or any of the major cities, or even like the towns, you're going to see outdoor covered. Like everything's covered because it's sunny, so everything is covered. And you think it's covered for rain, but no, it's covered for sun, right?
Sun, yeah.
And so all the playgrounds are covered, but near the playgrounds, you're going to see gym equipment. So there's like outdoor gym equipment everywhere. You see people like running and like working on the, you know, like all their like weightlifting, and it's like all this outdoor gym equipment. My kids think it's another playground. Playing on
it. Yeah, of course.
But it's fun. It's like you'll see all these people doing, and they do a lot of outdoor workouts. So there's like always something happening. And
what a fun place, because then you can I love cities that you can go walk, like that you're not expected to be in a car most of the day to go sightseeing, that you can just walk and go. And the gym equipment, that sounds fabulous. So if you get your water bottle, you're gonna have some covered. You don't have to worry about going to a gym or bringing your weights while you're there. You'll get plenty of steps in, I'm sure. What are some of your favorite like little hidden gyms that might not be on a tourist itinerary for when you, if you were going and had a day on your own to spend, where would you recommend people go?
To one of the spas that my children would not be allowed to, because there's beautiful spas.
Yeah.
But if you're going with kids or you're not going with kids, those are 2 different trips, right?
Okay, so let's do not going with kids.
So not going with kids, there's a beautiful spa up north, and you want to look it up. But just look up northern spas, and it's got like all these you know, like little tea leaves and things and gardens and stuff, and that's really pretty. It's right outside of the spa. So if you're gonna be heading up towards the spa, there's a really beautiful spa, and you want to kind of go towards there. There's a beautiful area in right like near there as well that also has, it's like an artist village. There's a ton of artist village that are really beautiful places in Israel. And if you're willing to like walk around and want to see the local artists, it's phenomenal.
And they sell their work there, so you could pick up something to bring back with you, or okay.
And there's a beautiful. If you're not going to be able to make it to one of the outside artist villages, but you should ask if you're going with a tour guide. They know all of them. Is if you aren't going to be able to do that, and you're going to have like an extra time in Tel Aviv on Sunday and Thursday or Friday, Sunday and Thursday and Friday, I want to say there's something called Nachalat Benjamin, and in Tel Aviv, like itself, there's an artist's fair twice a week, and it's like an all-day artist fair, and they have like everything. My son just picked up like a clock for his wall, and they make beautiful belts there. You can get like a pretty pocketbook that's like a one of a kind. You know, everything from like a painting to like a cute little jewelry box to bring back for somebody here, and little like artsy kind of jewelry. So they have that all there.
I love to find something handmade. Like if I'm going to bring something back, I don't want something from a gift shop that you turn over and it says made in China. I want like something from the people of the place that I went and visited and fell in love with.
And right down there's in Yaffo, which is the old city of Tel Aviv. Like again, if you can't go to one of these, like these are the other artist village are more like up north. They're like, you know, you have to drive there and kind of know where you're going. And they're beautiful. But in Yaffo, there's like a which is Jaffa, the old city of Tel Aviv, which is the old port. Where probably like, you know, where St. Peter went fishing, like all like his house is there, and you'll see a blue door.
Wow.
It's a very cool area. I love it there.
Very cool.
You know, and in Israel, it's really funny. You just like walk past something and then you read this out and you're like, oh, I just walked past like where, you know, Jesus like did his, I don't know, baptism or something. Like, and you're like, I realized it was right here. And like all of a sudden there's like a little sign. So unless you're going with a tour guide, keep your eyes open because you will miss it. You'll walk past this little door and the door will have like just like a, you know, tiny little sign. And it's like, this is where David, you know, fought Goliath. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, which that's another beautiful place though.
That David ran away from Goliath. Incredible. You what?
Where David ran away from Goliath is these waterfalls in the story, and it's called Ein Gedi, and it's 7 waterfalls, and especially if you're going to be going in the summer in the super hot heat, you're going to want to walk there. So you go take these. Again, Israelis hike in sandals. They don't hike in hiking shoes because it's so hot. I don't know. They just do. They all hike in sandals. Yeah. And then you take them off. You put your bathing suit on and you jump into these like waterfalls and these lakes and it's beautiful, and it's called Ein Gedi, and that's on your way down to the Dead Sea. So like if you're heading down past Jerusalem down towards the Dead Sea, it's a phenomenal stop along the way.
Oh, how amazing is that? When are we going? Next question.
When you come to I'll plan your tour.
Okay, so what is your favorite food order? If you could have one food in Israel for the rest of your life, what would be your chosen food?
I mean, I'm a hummus lover, so hummus and Israeli salad is like my go-to. Like I can have that for every meal and be happy while I'm there.
Yeah.
Our favorite, and Ari and my kids love shawarma. Like they're big falafel and shawarma kids, but they.
Okay, now what is shawarma?
The street food. So shawarma is basically meat on a stick that's rotated. It can be made of lamb or chicken, and they basically rotate it on a stick and slow cook it, and then they and it's got spices on it, and then they cut it off and they put it into a pizza. My kids like, I mean, the healthy thing is to put salad in there. My kids like it with like French fries and pizza. And then my kids you'll see there's like a bar, and you tell them like I want. Like I like that, like I'm having a falafel, I'll do like the sour stuff. So there's like sour things, and it's called the chamutzim in Israel. And then you put like hummus and trina and the salad. Or if you're my kids or Ari, you add a lot of French fries to it, and you know.
That would be mine. We are currently working with Luke. He's 2.5 on eating anything other than chips, and I'm like, chicken nuggets at this point are considered a healthy food for him, and it's like, I do not have this problem with the girls. Maybe it's because he's my third and I'm just more tired that I'm not like, we're eating cucumbers today, but hopefully he comes around and eats something other than chips. But
everybody gets one. Everybody gets
fries. Yes. He's my one.
Everybody has one.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, and then what are your tips for traveling overseas with kids? Because we fail miserably at this task regularly. And Joey, my husband, has now refused to travel with our 2.5-year-old because, well, I got the stomach bug, so he had all 3 kids to himself during our last flight. So he's like, never again. This child is never getting on a plane. But I feel like we'll move through that. But what are your must-have tips?
So there's a few things we travel with. One is when you're packing for them, you want to pack in like outfits. So like they can pull it out and pick it out. Like here's your bag. So we Ziploc their stuff and they can pull out their bag so the whole thing doesn't get messed up. And like my biggest pet peeve is when they like go to the beach and then they'll be all sandy and they'll throw it into like a clean suitcase. And I'm like, oh, what just happened to all your clothes? Right? So I
hope you like singing for the rest of the trip.
Here, everything's in Ziplocs, like whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely bring another pair of like clothes, like t-shirt, underwear, and pants for the plane, because somebody will spill something, and even if they have to borrow from each other, if somebody spills twice, they will. It's better than them sitting on a 12-hour flight, because to Israel it's 12 hours, or 9.5 hours. Take as many overnight flights as you can. So to Israel, I refuse to fly unless we're taking the 10:30 to 12:30 flight with them. And then it's an overnight. They're up for like an hour and a half, and then they pass out because they're tired.
Right.
They actually sleep better on the plane than we do. And then we travel with these little, like, they're melatonin-free chocolate balls that have some sort of good herb in them. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it helps them fall asleep. So we'll give them like 2 of those if they wake up at 1:30 of the first 2 nights. And they'll fall right back asleep. But the biggest thing you want to do is keep them awake till like midnight the first night.
Okay.
Cranky and annoying, and just give them ice cream as much as you want. Like, I don't know. We take them. We usually land.
You got everything you want.
We take them there. There's this gelato place called Anita Gelato that they adore.
Oh.
So we take them to the area, which, by the way, if you're in Tel Aviv, Neve Tzedek is like my favorite area to walk around. Again, cute little artist shops, like beautiful.
Yeah.
So there's this gelato place there, and they love it. It's called Anita Gelato, and we'll take them there, and we'll make sure they're like awake till like 11 or 12 that night, and then they can fall asleep. And then your rest of your trip is usually like in a better state. And then when you're traveling with kids with boosters, which it sounds like you're still in that stage, there's the collapsible ones, right? So we travel with the ones that just fit in the backpack so that you're not worried about it going on the plane or anything.
Yeah.
So it'll fit in like a backpack, and we can go into like taxis or, you know, other cars and feel safe that they're still in a booster.
Yes. Is that the one that it like it's flat, but it pulls your seatbelts down to where they're supposed to be? Okay.
Yeah, it's the MyFolds.
Yes.
It's the MyFolds, right?
Yeah.
And they're not expensive, and you just put it in your backpack, and it's like, whatever, we're good.
Yes.
And so that's the big thing. And then, you know, we're pretty strict on TV at home. And
yeah, we are.
The plane is like this exciting time where there's like, I don't care, take your iPad. You downloaded 350 movies? Fine.
Yeah.
There is no rules on the plane. I'm like, just ignore me and like do your thing.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of that.
It's number one to maintaining sanity. It's like if we are quiet, we are good to go.
We're good to go. And when you rent your car in Israel, make sure you take the insurance out, because in Israel, no matter what, you're going to go off-roading. So there's like a ton of off-roading, and that's what you're going to use your car for. And when you bring it back to the airport, they actually lift it up and check underneath the car to make sure that people have damaged the underneath the car.
Yeah, that all the parts are still there and you didn't like lose something.
So take the extra insurance out. You'll bring it back muddy and the whole thing.
Yes.
And so like you're going to, you know, and if you're looking for a big car, book it way ahead of time, because again, it's like Europe, right? So like all the cars are small. You guys are like us, we're 5.
Yeah.
5 with luggage. Like you need a big car to get it all into the car.
Yeah.
And it's super hard to find. So you want to book it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Otherwise they get booked super quick.
Yep. We had, when we returned our car in England, my husband drove. I'm not brave enough to drive on the other side of the road. And this woman inevitably delivered her rental car. The whole front corner of it was smashed in. And I was like, oh, yes, I hope that she got insurance, because it was, but it was like, it's easy to do because you don't judge where the middle of the road and the edge of the road, because you just want to go as far over as you possibly can, because that's what you're used to. And it's like, we're too close over here. We're too close.
Totally.
So, yes, Israel, though, you can drive yourself in there, and feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Israeli drivers are a little crazier than American drivers.
And you're in New York. The New York drivers are also different than Southern drivers. So our Southern,
I would say closer to New York drivers than Southern drivers.
Okay.
But it depends on where you're driving. Like, again, in Tel Aviv, it's like driving in New York. So if you're comfortable driving in New York, you're going to be comfortable driving in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. There's parking lots, but in every parking lot, you're going to have to go through security. Don't get nervous. There's a security guard in front of every parking lot. They make you pop your trunk open. I mean, the security there is like crazy amazing. So you go into a hotel parking lot, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to make you pop your trunk open, check it, boom, done, we're checking in, good. You want to try to find that. It's not easy to do street parking. In Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, if you can go to public transportation, do it. Once you're out of there, you're going to need the car. Like, you can't really be outside the cities and not have a car. It's not easily public transportation. And there's an app called Get, G-E-T-T, which is their version of Uber.
Okay.
Because it's great. And you can put your American credit card on. And again, the other big thing is, like, you're going to walk a ton. So just make sure you have your comfortable shoes, because, you know, the big thing is also our shoes are made for Israel. So they're made for the high heat. So what the shoes that you want, like a lot of the shoes that are manufactured in other areas or made for other climates, don't really do well in hot heat. Like, they'll break if you do this to them, right? And so this is manufactured to do for the high heat, all of these shoes. So again, maybe don't leave it out in the 150-degree, you know, sun for like 7 hours, but certainly you can walk around with it. It'll form to your foot. It's something you're going to want your feet to feel good in, and you're going to be doing a lot of sightseeing. You can literally spend a year in Israel and not see everything there is to see. So on your 10-day trip or your 1-week trip or your 2-week trip, like, you're going to be walking every day. And again, you want something easy, breezy, like the dress. You're going to go back. Don't worry about your hair. It's going to be a frizz mess the whole time, because that's, you know, maybe
the nature of it.
It's really hard. So bring extra oil. It's like a very hard water.
Okay. That is good to know, because yes, I've definitely been there. It's like my shampoo is not even like moving through my hair when the water gets really hard. So you definitely need the extra.
You need the extra like hair oil and just like lather it up.
Yes.
It's all good. And bring a lot of sunscreen and aloe, because as much sunscreen as you're going to put on, you're going to get burnt. You know, they have it a lot there. The other big thing is that you're going to want to bring, there are mosquitoes and bugs and stuff, so you want to get like some sort of thing. There's a cream that they sell there that we actually bring back here that's better than what we found on the market in the U.S. And it's called Fenistil. And it works against bug bites. So if you're there and you need to go into, you're going to find something called an AM/PM, or like there's like all these things, basically like pharmacies.
The Walgreens equivalent.
Kind of thing. And you just ask for the Fenistil, and you go to the Fenistil, and they'll know exactly where it is, and that's kind of what you want to bring. Everything else that you want, you can find there. Like if you forgot your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your shampoo, you know, like all that stuff, they're going to have.
And probably better and healthier and cleaner products. So maybe that's the good plan, is just bring nothing and buy it all there.
Except for your comfortable shoes, otherwise you're not going to be able to have them.
No, come here to buy your comfortable shoes. We'll get you all set up.
You know, the clothing there is amazing too. So
yes. Do you have any sneak peeks for us for fall, kind of going into? I know it's 100 degrees here and 100 degrees in Israel, but we definitely have plenty of sandals for your Israeli trip coming up. But do you have any sneak peeks for fall?
No, I didn't bring my fall here, but I'm really excited for a bunch of things coming up. One of them is this little shoe called the Okahu, which, again, another great travel shoe, because it's all, you know, one of the things that happens to you in the air, which I don't know if you've ever had this, you're wearing your sneakers, and your feet swell, right? Like, we don't like to talk about it, but when we get hot or when we go on airplanes, we perspire and our feet swell. And so that little shoe right there is going to come in 3 new colors for fall, and I'm super excited.
Ooh.
Sneak peek to spring 24. You're going to get a new color for spring 24 as well. So this little shoe, I think you have it there in black. We have it here in gray. It's coming in navy and a red and a sage for fall. And this is just a great shoe. Also, if you have a problem in the front at all, so it stretches on, stretches off. It's a great little travel shoe. Airplane, right? You're going to need to take them off as you're walking on. In Israel, you don't, but here you do. So you're going to need to, take it on and off. It's great removable footbed. It's a vegan if that is something that's important to you. They all are going to have our cork and latex footbed. So for those of you that don't know Naot, all of our shoes have cork and latex footbeds. And even if you can't see them, and they have heel indentation and arch support and metatarsal support, and they'll form to your foot. And they also have something that is uniquely ours, which is it's going to have a memory foam layer on the top. So the first time you step on it, it automatically feels good, as opposed to other things where you have to break them in. These get more comfortable over time, but we call them the oh my gosh shoes because people go, oh my gosh, I didn't know this kind of comfort existed, right? When they try it on.
I know how many women step into a shoe and go, shoes just hurt. That's like at the end of the day, my feet are just going to hurt. I'm going to need to sit down. You don't. You can feel good at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, and then go out to dinner and keep hanging out and not ever have the excuse of I need to get back because my feet hurt. So they really make a huge difference.
And so this little shoe also, if you have a bunion or any sort of, issues in the front, the way that these lines are designed is it kind of hides it. Like it kind of looks like it's part of the shoe. So even if I stick something on the side, it's going to look like it's sort of part of the shoe. It doesn't. It really hides it really well because as it comes through, the lines just seem to go over it. And it's super, super comfy. So it's coming out in 3 new colors, and I'm really excited about it.
Yay!
And then you're going to get a new heel.
The material, they were on a little bit of a back order, but are they back off of back order, so we're good?
They are. I think we're getting the last size in tomorrow.
Yay! Okay, I need to go ahead and send these in because we are like down to this is a 35.
So everything but 39. Tomorrow we'll get the 39s in.
Okay, so tomorrow I'll place an order for a full size one because these are a fantastic shoe and they've been out of them and we were special ordering them and waiting on them. So that is, grab them while you can because they will go back on back order.
These sell out super quick, so definitely.
They do. Well, Ayelet, thank you so much for joining us and talking about Israel. And just a reminder to our customers, if you are traveling to Israel or anywhere, take a picture of your shoes. How cool would it be to wear your pair of Naots to where they're from? So that's part of why we're doing this series is kind of visit where your shoes are made and learn a little bit more about the companies that you're supporting as you buy the shoes. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your tips. I'm really going to go back and rewatch this and take notes because you gave some really fantastic tips.
Anytime. All right. Say hi to everybody for me.
I will. You too. We'll see you soon. Bye.